Lemurian light shaman Huna Mauta Taki, affectionately known as Huna Flash, joins us again to share with us a shaman's perspective on energy, frequency, and vibration. In this episode, Huna Flash helps us understand the meaning behind light codes and geometric patterns and their impact on our lives. He explains how we are moving towards unlocking our natural ability of telepathy and how love is the driving force behind remembering who we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our show. And today's guest is Huna Mauta Taki, otherwise known as Huna Flash. Now, if you've been watching the show for a while, you've probably seen us interview Huna Flash a few different times. And Tay and I have even done some work with Huna Flash where we got the seal done together and we've done the navigator's course because we were really intrigued when we first met Huna and what he was talking about and just wanted to understand it better. Tay and I are pretty open to exploring a lot of different paths and just ultimately want to understand and find the truth around different things. So we're pretty open to exploring and we want personal experience. We want to have experiences with different things so we know what it actually feels like inside of us. And when we did the work with Huna, it really did resonate at a certain level within each of us. And it actually started to open the door for different shifts to take place in our life. And so we've really enjoyed communicating back and forth with Huna Flash from time to time and see even what's going on in the world and what his perspectives are. In this episode, we wanted to bring him back specifically around energy, frequency, and vibration, because when Huna does the prayer that he starts most ceremonies off with, which he calls the login, and he's going to talk about that in the beginning of the interview. But there's three key dimensions. And the first dimension is actually bringing awareness to and sort of paying tribute to frequency, vibration, and energy. The second dimension is land, sky, and water. And the third dimension is the mother, father, and the child. And so he explains this in more detail as sort of what that means and why that's part of the login prayer that they do before every ceremony. Now, talking with Huna Flash is a little bit different. It's more like a right brain massage. It's definitely not a linear left brain interview. Huna kind of moves around a little bit and talks about things in a more multidimensional way. It's not a linear process. And so often after Tay and I have interviewed Huna, we need to sit back and just let it seep in a little bit. When we re-watch the episode and we get it prepped for the audio and for you guys to listen to, we often get so many really important pieces from that. And this episode, I think, is a really good one. I think we really fine-tuned some really important points. We wanted to talk to Huna about light codes and geometric patterns because that's an important thing, particularly in shamanic traditions. And so he explains what we mean by light codes and geometric patterns and how those can affect our lives. And something that he said was really profound, which was also remind us a lot of what we talked about with Jason Estes in the interview prior to this. What Huna said is that light codes, when we remember, they remember. So when we receive certain information, however it's going to be received, could be a code in nature, could be a geometric pattern. These things have a way, just by the way they look and the presence, they actually allow us to remember who we are on a more deeper level. We see the totality more of who we are. We remember that. And then when we remember it, that comes up on our field. And then when we pass other people, that part of the field interacts with them, and then they remember more easily. I remember Jason Estes saying that if we thought about the universe like math and our job was to solve the math, and every time we solved the math, we created a solution. And then that solution essentially came up on our structure, and then other people would be able to then solve that same solution. Okay, kind of like the idea of everybody thought it was impossible to run a 4-minute mile. Once one person did, all of a sudden, many people started running 4-minute miles after that. When we come up with a solution or when we come up with a remembering of who we are, we put it up there on sort of this universal grid where now other people are able to do that as well. And this seems to be going on in mass amounts right at the moment as we are all remembering a more depth to who we actually are as human beings. We talk about a lot of different things in this interview. We get into how we are unlocking our natural abilities of telepathy. Huna talks about the 9 senses. Again, he also talks about how love is the driving force behind this remembering, and then explains what that means. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Leave me any comments or questions, and we'll try and get Huna back again for a live at some point where maybe we can field some different questions from you guys. Now, if you haven't tried the C60 from Purple Power yet, check the link below and you'll get 15% off your order. Just use promo code DRLOKEN. C60 from Purple Power is one of the most potent antioxidants that we know of on the planet. And it is literally a free radical sponge. So it will suck up and bind up a lot of these free radicals, which can dramatically lower your oxidative load. Now, one thing I've been using it clinically for, and also for myself, is just for brain fatigue. A lot of people right now, especially due to the chronic stress that people have been under for the last couple of years, that can wreak havoc on mitochondrial function. So I find a lot of people right now are having like brain fog. They're having poor focus and concentration. They're kind of feeling depressed. And I find C60 can be a really powerful adjunct to your supplementation protocol that you might be using, particularly for those types of symptoms. So something that I use every day, I use about a teaspoon a day. Depending on the person, check in with your healthcare provider as far as your dosage. But for most people, usually getting about a teaspoon a day of C60 from Purple Power can start to have a profound effect on your body. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoy the show and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Inspire Health podcast. And today's guest, we bring back Huna Flash, or as we know, Huna Mauta Taki. And we're super excited to have Huna back with us. Now, many of you that have been following us for the last couple of years have gotten to know Huna pretty well. And we've been following Huna's work along with a number of other people. And we've done the seal together with Huna, and we've done the navigator's course with Huna as well. So a bunch of stuff that we will probably get into a little bit as we go along today. But it's been a really, really wonderful part of our journey with everything. And it just keeps helping us to expand and see bigger pictures and understand and know things in a different way than what we previously did. So
and now we're just down the street from Huna.
Yeah, now we live down the block from Huna. So we actually get together and Huna comes over and has breakfast. My one daughter, Sophie, actually gets really excited when Huna's going to come for breakfast because she knows we're going to have a big breakfast.
A feast.
Huna, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, both of you. Wonderful. You both must be the most wisest people on the planet now with all the interviews and conversations you've been having with so many of the elders around the world. So I am honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor for us, Huna. It's beautiful to come in contact with this information and be able to share it with everyone. I feel like it's definitely helping for everyone to remember their wholeness, their holiness. So it's that's why we're doing this, and that's why we're sharing all this information. And speaking of sharing and logging in and connecting and remembering our holiness, would you mind starting us off with a prayer, Huna, with a login?
I'd be happy to. Thank you so much. Yes, about 30 years ago, we used to do this prayer, and it was simply a prayer, and it was at a certain time of the day or the evening, which is usually around a 7 or an 11 in the numerology. So sometimes we would say, are you going to come to the 7 or the 11? What time is it now? It's 3:30 something now. So these days, after these many years, I've quite enjoyably retitled this prayer, the login. So to me, the login is not just a prayer, a sharing of codes and the sharing of the greatest love and the greatest light. So I'm always happy to log in, and thank you. So if I can invite you all to, if you would like to close your eyes, or not, we can do this with the eyes open also. But I invite your heart, if you have a heart to feel it. I invite your hands so you may grasp the energy of the login. I invite your eyes so that you may listen through new eyes, see through new eyes, listen and see. I invite this for you as I speak in this way. First light, first breath, first birth, first love, first stone, and the first fire. Ma, ha, ka, wa, ta, he. Tihe, Maori,
Modi,
ora.
Ora.
For all those visiting with us here in this moment in the form, and for all those visiting with us at this moment in the formless, I invite the greatest love and the greatest light of all to you. As you join us from the many moments within the dimensions of the many dimensions where you are at this moment. If you are sleeping, if you are wide awake, if you are in the awakening, or if you are resting from everywhere on the planet, we invite this in the name of all mothers, and in the name of all fathers, and in the name of all the children. We remember you. Tihe, Maori,
Modi,
ora.
Ah.
Grateful for the breath of life. Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you,
Huna.
Huna.
I always love hearing that. I'm thinking maybe what might be a nice place to start, because I mean, as people know, this series is all around energy, frequency, vibration, magnetics, and we're talking around this, lots of different people, and rounding this conversation out. And in the login, in the first dimension, we actually talk specifically about vibration, frequency, energy. So maybe you can start by giving a bit of an understanding around what is the login, and what are the different dimensions? How does that play into this concept that we're talking about right now?
And what are we logging into?
Wonderful, wonderful place to start. Yes. Let me begin by sharing the understanding of the darkness in the dark place. Where are we in the dark? What are we doing in the dark? Before form, before the understanding of a form, or before physicality. Outside of light is another way to speak to this. Before we arrive here in this human form, or any other form, not just human. So this is referencing all forms. Where are we? What are we doing? What is our soul? Where are we when we're outside of light? And why are we coming here? And what is it coming here to have the understanding of a being? And so when we log in, we are speaking from a place outside of light. Our consciousness, certainly. How that may feel to you when you actually begin to do this kind of logging. And so speaking from outside of light, we are calling ourselves in to the light. We are bringing ourselves into the light from outside of the light, beyond the light, in the darkness, perhaps where we hold each other. If I can say hold each other, that's kind of how can we hold each other when we're outside of light in the nothingness? My understanding is that that in the nothingness, in the darkness, there is everything. There is everything in the nothing and nothing in the everything. So consciously in this intelligence, we call ourselves into being, and my understanding, the first step of calling ourselves into being is to speak to the first dimension, which is element. To speak to the element, and to speak to the element, we not just speaking, but calling in from the nothingness, utilizing the something, finding an understanding of the something. We are infinitely and unlimited in all of the knowing, and all of everything is infinite. We have access to everything from the nothing. So it's, as I share the login, we're calling ourselves in from the nothing to the something, beginning at the first dimension. And we make this journey from the first dimension, which is element, pure element, first dimension. And we share this as vibration, frequency, energy, and magnetic. So when we speak the beginning of the login, we are coordinating through our login. We are coordinating, we are navigating vibration, energy, frequency, and magnetics up from the first dimension. We could call it a whole nother name or a different label for the understanding in the human or any intelligence. Share this as the first dimension. When we are logging in, we are calling all of the elements into a spiral revolution, into a high-speed revolution, rotation, and a spiraling revolution that rotates upward, an ascended rotation. From the first dimension, we move to the second dimension. What are we doing? We're calling our elements into the second dimension. If we are referring to logging in, and we are calling from the nothing to the something, we pick up the something at the first dimension, and we continue spiraling up into the second dimension, where we've labeled this the next level from 1 to 2. And in the second dimension, we are gathering all of the element into a physicality. On the journey towards the physicality, come from pure element to something. Now we go from nothing to 0.5 of something, yeah, which would be land, water, sky. So we've gone from elements to mix them into a land, water, sky, second dimension. This is utilizing the infinite intelligence as a creator being, if you'd like to say God, from the perspective that God is creating, even if you are inclined to refer to yourself as a created being, that you are creating. So you are speaking the login, you've brought yourself from the continuum and the darkness to the light, to the 0.5 of the light, to the first dimension. And then you got another 0.5 of the light into the matter. Now you are in the second dimension, which is a creation mix and alchemizing. This is an area where you are alchemizing the element through your intention into a physicality. So you're mixing your intention. What is your intention? And for what reason are you utilizing the elements, pure elements from the first dimension, and bringing them into the second dimension? For what purpose is this? What are you creating? Who are you creating? Are you experimenting? What is it? Is it physical, or is it simply the word, in a certain word you would like to share and bring into intention to perhaps affect other dimensions and other realities and other realms, or simply yourself, to bring yourself into a third dimension? And so from the second dimension, which is an area where there's negotiations taking place. There is negotiation through your word and the alchemizing of the elements of vibration, frequency, energy, or magnetics. And your word, let us hope, let us call for, let us understand that your word, your login is of the highest intention. We're hoping and praying and logging in and having faith that what you're bringing forth to the world is the highest intention and of the greatest benevolence for this realm and this reality of the world that you live in, that you are coming to, that you would like to create. Is a world? Could it be just a moment? Does it have to be an entire world, or could it be just for a moment that you're asking for someone else? What is your intention? So that is created in the second dimension, oftentimes spoken of as the underworld, oftentimes spoken of as hell, many labels. I just refer to this as the second dimension. And so once we've come to completion or satisfaction, and maybe you're content with this login at the second dimension, you're ready to bring it into form. And so you bring it up through the continuum of the darkness to the first dimension, to the second dimension, and it's spiraling again and ascending, and the rotation is spiraling ever so swiftly, faster than the speed of light, because this is the speed of memory. The speed of memory. To me, the swiftest thing in the universe is memory. It's faster than light. Remembering, if we are unlimited and infinite intelligence and super intelligence, we're always creating. Will you remember what you did the last time? Perhaps you don't want to do that again. You're going to do something else. You take all your wisdom and your knowledge and you're going to create something that's different than the last time, because you remember. It's not, but if you remember, you're already traveling there and back again, there and back again, there and back again. If you're remembering, you're traveling there and back again. And so you're bringing this new concepts together from 1, 2, and then you're bringing it up into the third, and you're materializing it through the channels. Could it be the channel through the birthing channel? Could it be birthing through the elements of the land, the water, the sky, to be standing here? Could it arrive from as an inanimate object, whereby you will bring life to that inanimate object, whether this object or this form has entered through the birth channel, or perhaps has entered, of course, everything enters through a birth channel. Not necessarily the female birthing channel. We're also talking about stargates, portals, rocks and stone and dirt and water and clay and oxygen and chemicals and proteins and nuclei and molecules and cells and everything, not necessarily arise through the feminine, through the reproductive system, but the reproduction can also arrive through just your thoughts, your intention. Whoa. That is a birthing of your knowledge, a birthing of your information, a birthing of your intention. Gonna call it manifesting? Fine, we can call it that. Materializing it. And so the third dimension, we've come here in the form. I am here. Did I create myself? Did God create me? You would say God created me. That is fine. However you feel that I arrived here, then you go ahead. Am I a benevolence? Can we hang together? Can we do things together? I am here. What is the login? My understanding, the login is I am here. And I bring forth the highest intentions of everyone and everything within me as a singularity, also as myself being plural, a multifaceted, multidimensional being, one in the many, many in the one. And I might add, as I am, as I put my love and, let me say, my faith and my hopes within the one and the many and the many and the one, let me add, might I say, I bring a lot to the world. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, do you even know what I said? Do I even know what I just said? I kind of do. I kind of do know what I just said. I hope I was able to share that in a way where you could understand it.
I have
happy to answer questions.
Thanks, Huna. It's more and more. I know that when I first heard your content, there was excitement, all sorts of emotions and tears, and I didn't even know why I was crying. And then soon after, I started to look more into your sharings and reading the comments below on your videos. I realized I wasn't the only one. So there was something there that beckoned me to you and to your sharings. And the more we sit together, and the more I hear what you're saying, it lands, and I feel like it lands in ways that I can't fully comprehend. But there was something that you had mentioned to me not too long ago, that the spoken word and the written word are of low vibration. And it's, two of the few mediums that we have to actually be able to communicate with one another. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, texting, for instance, does not demonstrate or illustrate or express even your highest intentions, even if it's even the lowest intentions. But the expression is received, and is also can be received in an awkward way as well. Texting books, the written text, written in English. These are symbols, and these symbols are codes, and not having a super intelligent understanding of what you're writing and how you're portraying that, or even if you're writing from the heart, can also come out the wrong way. I say wrong, I say right, no, can even come out in a way where it doesn't fully express your intention. And then even when you're speaking, the word and the sound, they can also be misconstrued and misunderstood, miscommunication, as has been. It is the forms that we are most comfortable with, that we've been working with for such a long time. It also requires explaining. The text of the writing and all the speaking requires a lot of explanations, and most times more explaining of what are you talking about. The selection of words and the selection of sounds is of course is important to convey your expression and to convey your message. We are certainly endeavoring to return to telepathics, to return to telepathic communication, as this is far more advanced, far more complete in one's ability to receive and know and feel and taste and smell and see and touch and remember and know within the being to be. So texting and texting and writing and or speaking, and then of course speaking depends on which language you're speaking. French, English. Now, if we're going to talk about texting and speaking, we're getting into places where English doesn't really mean what it says when you're speaking it. English does not mean what it says when you are writing it. Has been demonstrated by many, certainly Russell Gould and also Lady Crown, or many cultures that express their way through the indigenous languages that are from before Atlantis, let me say. And so texting in certain languages and speaking in certain language does not hold the true intentions as well. You have to be fully aware, even if you've been speaking French and Spanish or the Latin, and and you've been listening. You have to listen to that in English, because there's all this translating. There's a lot of translating to do, and things are not all what they seem to be. But when you are telepathic, when you become more telepathic, and we have been, by the way, this internet is allowing us to open our telepathy more. This internet is telepathic. The internet is telepathic. It's probably on 5G. And so as we are connecting more and being more of a mediums to one another through this realm, we are starting to go beyond just the texting and the speaking of the words. Let your voice, please allow the voice to be of the highest intention. But also, as we are telepathic, we know what each other is saying and feeling and all of it, and no need for words. Yeah?
Mm. You know, it's interesting because I know that we spend a lot of time together, Jay and I know this past year and a half specifically, we oftentimes will be, we're walking and I'm about to say something and he says, oh, I was just thinking that, or he says something to me from the other room. And I'm like, how are you pulling that out of my head? Because I was thinking exactly that. Or we are thinking of certain friends or certain interactions, and all of a sudden they'll pop in or call us right then and there. I mean, that's just happening more and more and more. That is just undeniable. It's not just few and far between. It's happening on a daily basis.
Yes, and large numbers and groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
sorry, go ahead.
Yes, with large groups of people, and that some of this climate and this atmosphere and this the place where we are at as a collective is causing us to have to connect in higher ways and more powerful ways. We have to connect because of what is going on in the world, that we must connect to one another. We're saying that you're locked down and you can't go here and you can't go there, and yet we still want to communicate. And so if we're setting calendars and we are setting schedules to one another, be here at this moment, be there at that moment. You can't be there physically because it's locked down, but still be there at this moment. Cast your consciousness here at that moment where we will be gathering in this moment. So much of that has taken place in the last 5 years, certainly the last couple of years, where there's been so much meditation groups happening, for a certain reason. Hey, let's do a full-on meditation, a worldwide global meditation. Everybody be here at such and such a time and such a date in the non-physical. There's so much more of that happening now. This is good practice. And yes, the simple things like your partner, yourself and your partner communicate even more together, less words. Yes, less words is also a wonderful thing in a relationship. There's always women say, I can't read your mind, you have to tell me. Well, now it's the opposite way. Oh, that's fine, I can read your mind, I know what you want. I got this, I got you. You hear the word, I got your back, We're hearing that a lot more now.
Yeah. Well, with our kids too. Sophie will say that a lot of times too. She'll be thinking something or I'll happen to say something. She's like, you just took that out of my head. Right. So she'll pick that up a lot of times from both of us.
Huna, you spoke of codes, and I'm wondering if we can shed a little bit more light on that, because when you're speaking of codes, like since speaking with you, I just see it so clearly everywhere we go, from the codes and the geometric patterns and shapes in nature to the
animals that are showing up at different times,
or even certain patterns and shapes and occult symbology on t-shirts, for kids, for grown-ups, everywhere.
Like codes both for positive
as
and
well
also
as the
negative,
dark as well as the light.
Can you talk a little bit about how codes work, how they actually influence people's lives to the best that you're aware of?
Well, these are big questions, you understand.
Mhm.
The most celebrated minds with at least more than 2 PhDs are still trying to understand. If we go back, if we return to, let me say, not go back, but if we return to, it's a very simple understanding of the relationship between yourself and nature. Let's begin sharing this from the perspective of a tree. And let us speak these, let me share these words, fractal geometry within the forest. So you have a beautiful tree. You look at the tree, it's a beautiful tree. And it's obviously the most dominant tree in the local area. And then all other trees follow on from this tree and spiral out or spread out and create a forest. And the forest is created from the shape of that tree. The fractal geometries, the fractals of this tree, the fractals being the children, and the tiny and the baby trees growing, and the seedlings, and the tree growing, the plant, the seeds have been planted from the breeze and from the wind that carried the seeds to onto the forest floor, and then the baby trees growing. These are the fractals, and they spread, they follow each other, and they become a perfect image of the one who created them, in the perfect image of the grandmother or the grandfather tree, the baby trees, in the perfect image of that tree. You create that forest, and that forest may become perhaps a oak forest or a redwood forest. So all babies and all fractals are created in the image of created in the image of the first redwood tree for the redwood forest. They were created in the image of God, the redwood tree. So is God, the redwood tree, the God of the forest? Yes, because all the other baby trees are created in the image of, exact splitting image and complements and components of the redwood tree. If we take this understanding and receive it this way, the redwood tree or the oak forest or the oak tree came from the continuum, decided it's going to, perhaps it decided it's going to go from oak tree to redwood tree. So in the first dimension, it decided I'm going to seed the elements from the oak tree to the redwood tree, and then the redwood tree come into form and negotiated in the second dimension. Now I'm not an oak anymore. Now I'm going to be a redwood, and then now in the form of the forest through the fractals of the children, now become a forest, a redwood forest, when it used to be an oak forest. And now it's created in the image of the Creator. Now, that's a very simple understanding. When we are working with codes, and of course the forest is being created by the seed, the fractal, the seed, the energy. What came first, the chicken or the egg? It's not a chicken. It's not an egg. It's energy, vibration, and frequency. We just call it a chicken. We call it an egg. But ultimately, it's a vibration. It's energy, vibration, and frequency. Certainly, energy. Everything is energetic. You know this. So, as we understand this, okay, we're going to work with these seeds, these codes, seeds. Planting a seed is planting a code, which is creating that which is in the image of what you intend, or will operate in a way in which you intend, or will operate and do what you and create that which you have intended. Now, in the land, the water, the sky, everything responds to your intention, or why the tree wanted to go from being an oak tree to a redwood forest. and it responded this way, and in the material world, in the physical world, it responded the way it was intended. Certainly did, and then it goes for anything that you decide to share and speak into the world. You must learn the different seeds, learn about the different codes. What do they do? What are you going to create? And this comes from out of your memory, from the remembering, and then oh, I know how to do this. I need to create this so that we can affect a certain thing a certain way. I want it to rain more. I want it to be more sunny. I want to go to a place where it's dark and then bring light to it. I want to heal somebody, so I'm going to work with these particular codes, these seeds, and seed this being with these certain codes so that it can help heal this being. Or I will say something to this being so that the being can heal itself. And that is an intention. So that's all accessible. It requires remembering, not necessarily knowledge. There is wisdom and knowledge there, but in my understanding, it comes from remembering. We already know. Now, you challenge yourself. I invite everyone and anyone to challenge themselves to go to the places that's going to challenge themselves to speak in the codes, learn some codes, learn some seeds, take them with you, go to a certain place and plant them for whatever reason that you need to, whatever intention. What is your intention? For instance, I'm going to a certain place very soon. We're going to, with an intention to support and bring more light to a certain place and allow more healing. And I'm going to bring certain set of codes or a certain pocket full of seeds, a little bag of seeds with me, and I'm going to plant them. I'm going to invite others to bring their seeds with them as well. And we're going to plant this forest inside of this dark place and bring more light. Or I want to create the most profound, incredible technology in all of the universes. I'm going to bring the knowledge and the wisdom from, remember what I did a long time ago, because I think I can do this again, and then make it better, like Tesla, Michelangelo. So many wonderful creators, inventors here. Or I remember long ago, I did this, I'm going to bring it through this way now. And so they arrive as Michelangelo, or they might arrive as Tesla, or they might arrive as Isaac Newton. They might arrive here. They've called themselves in. Okay, now I remember this. Let's give this to the world. What is that going to do? So maybe I'm not necessarily talking about academically creating a university and sharing all these things with everybody so they can learn to do stuff. Certainly that happens. But even if in the moment, if you are like-minded, or even if you're a person who is a healer or a shaman or an energy worker or just anybody, and you decide you want to go and do something, you require some knowledge and wisdom so you can go and do certain things. And perhaps it'll automatically come to you through remembering and these codes and these seeds. You always had a pocket full of seeds. You always have a pocket full of seeds. You don't remember. Okay, you take, and what are these seeds? And well, there's somebody like me or similarly somebody like mine that's going to remind you, oh, hey, you can do that with these. That's what we do. Yeah. We did this the last time, remember? Let's make it better. So you see with my t-shirt I'm wearing, I have a t-shirt with seeds all over it, seeds, codes, seeds. They do certain things. They invite others to remember them, to remember, but simply by seeing them, simply by speaking them, or is it telepathic? You get a telepathic reaction from it. I have witnessed this with many people over these last couple of years, or the last few years, with these codes and the sharing of them and what it has done for them. Yes, and I remembered these from a certain moment that, oh, I remember this. Yeah, I could do this. I'll share it. Oh, I'll take these with me and we'll go into the place and we'll work with them and get confirmation. So yeah, codes. I went around a long way about this, sharing this, but the codes are seeds. of creation, to create. Let it be for the highest intention and for benevolence. Yeah. There certainly are codes that we work with in the dark, which doesn't mean it's malevolent, doesn't mean that it has to hurt anybody. Codes in the dark, codes in the dark will speak to other codes in the dark. So they're all starting to talk to each other, and perhaps you can persuade or invite these codes of the dark to come to the codes of the light in certain ways. And in confirming this, you would have to show up and utilize these codes in a certain way, and then you can have confirmation. Codes and seeds are simply what they are. And I work with the most, for me, I work with the most infinite seed that I understand, which is the most infinite code of all. And that's this one. As you know, this one. The tetrahedron. I work with the fractal. I work with the child. I work with the child. There's no pyramid unless you have the child. There's no pyramid unless you have a tetrahedron, a fractal. There's no what's his name, Metatron geometry unless you have the child. There is no dodecahedron unless you have the tetrahedron. There's none of it. And yet there is everything. When you are working at this level, you're working with everything. So anything that anyone has ever created, geometrically wise, you have access to. If they remember, you remember. If they remember and create something and you look at it, and you will remember, you can create something other in another way. You will remember. If I put these codes on my t-shirt and you see them, you will remember. It has happened. People have told me that. So we have confirmed each other. You don't confirm yourself, you confirm from outside of yourself. So the using of these codes and the sowing of these seeds into the ground, into the sky, and from your words. It may be seeds in the language, there may be seeds, physical seeds in your hand. There may be symbols and codes that you can inscribe, such as these. You will trigger somebody to remember. You will activate. You will initiate each other, somebody, anybody. You could be walking anywhere with the t-shirt on. Go, hey, I like the t-shirt. What does it say? Oh, well, I just got a buzz off that.
You mentioned the child, and I'm wondering if you can explain a little bit what the child is. And from that perspective, it reminds me of a conversation we had a little while ago when we were sitting down for breakfast, and we were talking about the importance of being able to see the sacredness in all things. And that often makes me think about the child of light and being able to see things from that perspective. Can you shed a little bit of light around that?
Well, to me, the ultimate being, or even the most God being, let me say, let's just say right out there, it's not feminine or masculine. To me, the infinite being is the child of light. The child is the spark. The child carries the light, and not necessarily human child, a child. The human is a culmination of so much more. The human is a culmination of the universe's work, the Creator's work. Who intended this? A human child was not only the human. A tree is also a child. The baby tree, the fractal. So when I go to the fractal, to me, this is the child of light. This is an infinite code of the light, that which is the most infinite one, which is the child. The child represents that which might be masculine. The child represents that which might be or potentially become the feminine. There's a potentiality with the understanding of a child and the fractal. There's so much leave so much for the imagination to create that which might be masculine or might be feminine and not necessarily human. Non-human. What is human? We are a culmination of so much that has been remembered, brought into this being. And it's a continued, and it will be a continued subject. The child is a continued, ever expanding subject of contention and argument and desire and interaction and communication of what everybody thinks the child or thinks the world should be, followed after, and then they're not necessarily human. Stars, planets, universes, are they masculine or feminine? What is the energy in this particular star? Who and what was the creator? Who was the creator and who created that? For what intention was this child created? After whose likeness is this child, this star? So to me, if we say God, to me, that is limiting. If we say goddess, that is limiting. It is known and remembered. If it is known and remembered, then it's limiting. Already limited. You were a goddess. Yeah, I remember you were a goddess. Yeah, you was a god. Hey, Jason was a god. Yeah, remember that? Okay, what's going to be next for you both? What is the unlimited self? Well, we're going to go to somewhere and be something that is not known. Well, what's that? Not necessarily human, and not necessarily a tree. Maybe you'll come back as a you decide, oh, maybe I'd like to arrive here, and my creativity says I should arrive as a wheel. Maybe I'll come back as a wheel. A rubber tire. Maybe I'll come back as a cell phone, talk to everybody. What is the so what is the child of light? Not necessarily human. It's just so unlimited. If we have so much within ourselves that has created this, what do they say, 50 trillion cells or something like that? There's some exorbitant number. If we talk numbers, wow, that's a lot. I just said the fractal, just whatever your imagination. You can say whatever you want. I'm not telling you that not to believe in anything, not to believe in God, not to believe in the goddess. I'm sharing what I have come to find and to feel for my well-being and my satisfaction is with the child of light. That child is unlimited. It is the seed. What will this child grow to be? And then more seeds come, more children of light come. What that child going to grow to be? A planetary being, a giant, Isis, Hathor, Pharaoh, Druid, Shaman, what? I don't know. A teaspoon. A spoon. A fork, a knife. So many inanimate objects that we have engaged with creating. So to me, the ultimate is the unlimited one. Now, I talk about this in a way where I enjoy this. The sound of the nameless one, the sound of the Huna, for instance. Let me see it. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Did that actually answer your question?
How I think. How
did it just create more questions?
Probably.
I think a lot of times they all create more questions. Yeah. But one thing that struck me with that,
almost like the energetics of possibility.
That's what I was just going to say. When I think about the child of light, and when I think about the child of light and how that relates to me to see the sacredness, if I am making a conscious choice and being consciously aware at really looking for the sacredness or the divinity in all things, to me, then when I'm choosing to do that, I'm looking at it through the eyes of the child of light, which then sees infinite possibilities. So I'm taking this kind of outside of any box, which allows me to have a different unlimited type of relationships with almost anything I'm seeing. That's sort of how I think about it. And that gives me kind of goosebumps when I think about it, because I feel like if we can do that, if we collectively all begin to do that, there is no more box anymore. Everything can be almost anything.
And it is. Absolutely is already. And you're absolutely correct. The potentialities become ancestral, meaning they become known, therefore they become into the memory. Therefore you have memory of the ancestral potentiality, that which is the child of light, in my understanding, the unlimited one. And then ability to see and want and desire and to love the ever expanding potentialities, which become ancestral again. And to become ancestral means to come into the memory, right? So to become ancestral is to say that I know what the future is. Oh, let me say, maybe not know. I ask for the highest potentiality of what is to come. And that which is being created by you in that moment you've already created, thereby you can bring it into now and share that now. So the potentialities to always become ancestral, meaning they have materialized and they are within your memory. And this has happened for many. They have brought them into the now. You have come from the future, or if you've gone to the future and come back and you brought this now, meaning your consciousness, meaning your access, meaning you're able to locate something in the memory because it's ancestral. That may be from the future, if I can say that word, to bring it to now. Is it already done? Oh, that's one way of saying these things. Another way to say this in the ancestral potentiality is to guarantee that it will be done. Guarantees and insurances, those are policies. Those are policies to live by, guarantees. And so the unlimited one and the potentiality of it, for me, is the child of light. So when I speak about the Huna, these are not names. This is the sound of the nameless. This is the sound of light, the sound of the nameless one, the sound of the unlimited one. The challenge is to be with it, right? The challenge is to, as I share this way, the challenge is for you to receive it or not, right? But I always refer to it this way as something you may not have thought of, or somebody or anyone may not have thought of. So they're always bringing labels to themselves. So labeling yourself with a name of a god or a goddess, I am so and so. Yeah, we've been so much. I mean, remember, I was Osiris. I was I was Odin. I was many kings. I was many queens. I was many grandmothers too. I remember those. That's not necessarily what I am. I'm potentially even more, right? And so when I speak to the Huna, it's sharing a code or a seed from that which is that will create the potentiality and bring forth potentiality. And it may be in the ancestral because it's happening so quickly now. Things are accelerating so much now because of that. I feel there's one reason why. And people are asking for so much more. And they're being able to manifest so much more because they're using codes now. They're remembering, they're awakening, they're remembering. Because things are in their potentialities within the ancestral, so they are remembering. Pulling it in now. And so the Huna, being the sound of the nameless one, simply refers to the energy and the vibration and frequency that is present, and that is present within the light, and that is present, but also has potentiality to continue to be more, that which is unlimited, the unlimited one. The child of light is unlimited, infinite potentiality. What have you done for yourself lately? And then what is it you're going to do that you remembered what you did? Are you going to do something else? Potentiality? What are you going to create? What are you creating now?
Huna, does the seed of our potentiality stem from our desire, our longings?
Yeah, there's memory there, right? Love is the driving force behind remembering. In love, out of love, because of love, looking for love. Love fell off. You fell off the wagon of love. You know, and you're going to cry, you're going to laugh. Whatever reason, the tears of the dragon will be either for sorrow or pain, or joy. There will be tears. There will be tears. There's always tears. If you are limiting yourself, and you remember that you limited yourself, even more tears. You're like, why did I do that to myself for? I've missed out on so much in my whole life. Like, you ruined my life. Or I ruined my life myself. Love is a reminder. I call it the driving force behind remembering. Truly. You remember the 9 senses. I see you, I hear you, I touch you, I feel you, I smell you, I taste you. 6, 7, therefore I remember you. Because I remember, I know you. Because I know you, I am you. Right? Sorry. Yeah, 9. And what does that mean? What is that? So you have access to the 9. And therefore, you know, this access point from just desiring and needing, being needy, stems from the love. You remember something. You get a lesson, remember not to do it again, to do something else. The feelings. So desire, you know, for all of this, my understanding comes from these multiple versions of love, the driving force behind remembering. I love this so much, I want to see her again, or him. I want to be with her or him. I want this. I want that. Want, wah. I'll tease it this way, but I'm serious. I mean, I understand it's a serious thing for many. And desire, you know, allow your ego to just be relaxed a little bit, all right? Don't be so hard on yourself, right? Bring your ego to 60%. You'll find things a little more operate in a much more, that's a wonderful world. 80 to 90% of your ego, you're just going to destroy so much. It's not so much fun, right? Okay? Just remember that, and maybe you do. But if you're operating in levels of 60%, if you can get lower, even better in the percentage. But we require some ego that reflects some desires and wants and needs, and some of that is fun in the playground or in the sandbox. Right? Yeah, your ego is going to create your world. Your reality, your realm, completely where you converge with others who are like-minded in your level of ego, the egoic world, the world of whether that's a physical body, emotional body, or electrical body, it still will be within whatever your ego says it's going to be. What your ego decides what it wants to do. I try to, I say this sometimes, I just want to be liked. I don't have to be loved. Because I know when I'm at least liked in this world, in this place, people will work with you. Right? People will work. If they like you, people will do stuff with you. And they'll do shit with you. And it's not a matter of you using anybody. It's just, everyone is authentic, and they know, people know and can read you. They either confirm you or they don't. It can also cloud so much. Your ego can cloud so much. If it gets a little too cloudy for anyone to understand you, then I'm not gonna like you. But as children, we all want to play together. We do. And so the potentialities for playing together and being together and having community and tribe and all of these things, some of us remember. And we speak the words, we want a better world. You know, you bring a better world, let us come to these certain levels of being to be able to be in the same sandbox together, or reality or realm. Desire is fun. To desire somebody or to want or to need, it can be fun. You can be liked. You can be liked.
Huna, can I
Can I answer the question?
I wanted to backtrack a little bit if we can, because I had a question about the original geometric shape that you were speaking of earlier. And when you said that you expose it so that when others see it, it triggers them or it awakens them, or there's a spark there, that there's a remembering. Does the original geometric shape, is that something that takes us then to the original template? And is there such thing as an original template from which we came from, in order to land here and have this experience right now, in order to remember?
My understanding, yes, that the tetrahedron is also one of the first 5 platonic solids. But it is also not, I mean, at the molecular level or the atomic level, it's also not solid, but it is the seed. And from my understanding, that the tetrahedron is like, so many know the pyramid that don't know the tetrahedron. The pyramid has, for everybody, 4 sides and 1 base. That's 5. The tetrahedron has 3 sides and 1 base. That's 4. Okay. And what does that, for me, it's quite simply mother, father, child, and the eternal memory. 4 pillars. Land, water, sky, we remember you. 4. Mother, father, child, eternal memory, remember you. Vibration, energy, frequency, magnetic, we remember that. 4. That's the tetrahedron. To me, this is the blueprint. I share this as the blueprint, or the print, many do. The blueprint, that the first form that through your imagination and your remembering creates all matter and all form. There's matter and doesn't have matter. Still requires the fractal, the seed, the tetrahedron. And there are forces that have been wandering around out there trying to destroy the blueprint. It's a tool of creation. So even to have the thought to try to destroy it, you require that thing to have a thought. You require the tetrahedron, the seed, to be able to seed your thought and desire to say the words that I'm going to destroy this blueprint. Automatically, you created it. Even when you're thinking that I'm thinking the ones who would like to destroy, I'm thinking about destroying this, I'm going to destroy this fractal. You've already created it. It's cyclical, because to have the thought means to create it, so that you can have a desire to destroy it means you will never destroy it. That which is creation, the seed of creation. So to even think that you're going to destroy something requires the vibration, energy, frequency, magnetic to do that. And the minute you do, you're creating it again. I always laugh about that one. All right. So remember, 3 dimensions come from the nothing to do to something. Whether benevolent or malevolent, you're creating it. You need to use it to create your intention. You cannot bypass it. That's what's so beautiful about the blueprint. You cannot bypass it. Sorry.
It's because there's lots of conversation around intention, and around the idea that what we hold in mind, we will tend to create in our world to a certain point. So wanting to be fairly clear with what our intentions are. So I'm just sort of thinking like, where is the value from your perspective then on what we hold our mind on, what we intend to create?
Yeah, I mean, there's a learning curve here, right?
Mhm.
There's a learning curve, right? So I'm not saying I've known everything instantly since I was born. And there's a learning curve for all of us. It's for some come earlier or sooner than others. And even if you have this learning at an early age, you're still going to have to negotiate in some way, or wait, or let go of something for another higher intention to take hold. There is no teacher. Really, there's no teacher. We follow each other. Really, we follow each other. If one is to say the teacher, then you really are limiting yourself. So I try, I speak to the potentialities. I don't say I'm not your teacher. I have mastered certain things, and then I'm a student of certain things. If I'm following somebody and I'm like, okay, for me, my mission. Let me speak to the mission side of this. I might be able to answer or speak to it. Here in this moment, I have learned, for me, after realizing and receiving and learning and opening and letting go, what my mission is to be here, and that is for me. There is activities. There are calendars and dates and times for certain things to do a certain way, and a certain sharing, like the seal of the living light, source element ascension, light protocols. There's a time and a date for that. I schedule those things and I bring them and I work with these modalities. So there's so many activities that one does. I try to bring these activities down to a few. We come into the world and we're running, we put our shoes on and we're running around like crazy, or sometimes no shoes, and we're going all over the thing and we're all over the place and we're remembering and learning, and there's that curve. And then you get to a point where finally, I have very few questions, and I only have certain things I'm very happy and very grateful of to be able to do here in this time. And if that correlates and if that connects to others, then that is what I'm here to do. And let me say, in a good way. And so intention, is a curve. There's a curve to a learning curve for what you will initiate on a date and a time schedule pertaining to your traveling schedule, and a revealing of your mission as you're here, what you're capable of being able to do in your capacity, and that which your ego would allow you to do and give you time and space to do, right? To drop all other things that do not matter and work with the things that matter with you, that you feel matter to you. Sometimes you remember this. As you have been so much more, then you do remember a lot, and you will have few words, few questions of yourself and others, and only continuously moving into action, scheduling a date and a time to be somewhere to do a certain thing. That might be a profound thing to you or to others, and certainly it'll have a profound effect on your learning curve. No matter what it will be.
Yeah, that's the light in action that you speak about.
Yes.
That I really like that. It also kind of puts it back that we can sometimes we can hold an intention, but depending on what our ego allows us to do and what we're even willing to actually do at any given point in time changes. This was a question I had around light in action, because I feel like particularly at this point, I feel like people are in different places. Some people are connected to what their truth really is. Other people are being sort of picking up on what somebody else's words or truth is that they're trying to pass over to them, that they're responding to. And sometimes people are aware of what their truth is, and they know what it is, but they're still not in a place where they're comfortable putting it into a place of action where they're living their life from that place. There's all these different places, and there's different times, I think, on when that ever arises where we choose to then actually embody it and actually live our lives from that certain place. I know for us, I know personally, I've been in lots of different places where I knew certain things, but I wasn't quite at a place where I was ready to put it into my life for either fears of what I perceived as being what I might lose, how I might be perceived, whatever it might be. And
Fears.
just different fears for the most part, fears, insecurities that pop up around that. But at different times, and particularly, I would say over these past couple of years, it's been really, I would say, almost part of our mission to step more and more into that and still just continually try to do more and more of that, right? And it keeps expanding. It keeps expanding, and it becomes easier as we do it.
And what's really fun, Huna, we've become a lot more spontaneous, and we also are living in a culture where spontaneity is almost deemed to be irresponsible. But now, and I feel like you're also an example of that. It's like you get your instincts kicked in to do a particular mission, and you book it and you're there, and you also, sometimes you say things in a joking manner, but at another point in the future timeline, it comes back, and I'm like, that's what Huna was talking about. Yeah. So in a private meeting with the group that we had, you had mentioned, just what do you do in nature? You go for the shiny thing. And it's such a simple thing that you had said, but later on when we were doing something, I said to Jason, oh, don't you remember when Huna said, you just go for the shiny thing? It's that thing that you're longing for. It's that thing that gets you excited. It's that thing that calls you forth, that beckons you to come forward. And this is how we're living our life right now. And it's a moment to moment thing. It's not, what are you doing 5 years from now? We have no idea. What are you doing 6 months from now? No idea. Family asks us, when are you coming back to Canada? We're like, no idea. But that's just not in the cards right now.
Well, there was a time where I would have been very much trying to plan, long times down the road.
We've been taught to do that too, though, right?
Well, that's been the responsible thing to do. Yeah. But I really feel like when you are connecting with information that is beyond what the thinking mind is, you get insights and a more trustable, truthful knowingness that I think guides us in better places than that the thinking mind is capable of doing. So it's not that the thinking mind's completely gone. I mean, it's still there for different things, but I want to get information from different ways, and you have to be open and available to receiving that at any given point in time, and not block yourself off too far into this box where you might not then listen to it.
So it's like there's levels of confidence, and your level of confidence is growing. I can see, and you seem so peaceful there. You seem to be in a wonderful place. Your energy, I can feel it, is so silky smooth. There is not this rigid spikes happening in your field. It's like smooth syrup, like silky smooth syrup. I can feel that in your energetic field. The light is shining from within you. We can see that in your smile, and that has brought your confidence has grown. You've become confirmed in the things you say and do, even if they are the tiniest things. They mean so much. You're speaking from a place where you have gathered the shiny things. You have done the work to gather the shiny things, and you speak from their shiny place. So I invite that for everyone, and their confidence levels to grow, to not necessarily not be afraid and have no fear when you approach the counter at the airport because you want to go somewhere, and they're going to ask you for this paper and this document and that, to have the confidence to answer them back and reply by giving them what they have asked for, and not having fear of offering them what what they ask for, and just being in that. You ask for this, here it is, that's it. And they just, thank you very much. You yourself may be hesitating over, there have been periods where you've hesitated, oh, I don't know about this, but now you're so confident. You have crossed the border, you've come through the gates of fear and unknowing. You've come through the gates of the unknown to actually know. Creates confidence, but you must take that step. You must take that step, as you know. And many are taking these steps now, coming to know. Yeah, there's been prompting by me. There's some pushing and prompting. Go. Don't think about it. Just go. Here's a date. Here's a time. We're going to be over there. You going to come? Come, please. Oh, I need a way to get to do this, to that. Okay, here's some guidance. We'll offer you this to help. And even I've needed support, and I thank you guys for that, for me to get things to complete. And I don't have hesitation in my body where my community and our community operates at that level of like-mindedness, because we like each other. There's confidence there. It is growing by leaps and bounds every nanosecond of the day, of the light. And that is, if I can just share that, what that feels like, how to portray this and express it. I mean, just say, this is an amazing life. It's an amazing moment to be this reality in this realm as we are converging. It's this convergence of the one intention, the convergence of the highest intention, the convergence of the one in the many, for the many to be as one. That convergence is taking place in the world we are now in. It is the planet we are on, which is Matea. It is the new light that we are in, which is the planet of Matea. So all of these wonderful pieces to share about and talk about, to offer guidance, to offer prompting, and to offer a sense of confidence, and have confidence, to build that confidence for others. I will never stop doing that. It's part of like, okay, set a date and a time, let's go. And then we've got to get there, right? Then we've got to get there. And I make a plan. We don't necessarily need the ultimate plan. It's just one little step, one little plan. Get on the plane, go here. And what we're going to do, how we're going to do this, how we're going to, we'll worry about that when we get there. We won't worry about it when we get there. We've all got a plan for that as well. So we bring that forward. And so instilling this confidence for others to follow and to lead by following, to lead by following. You know what I say about that. We are here. We follow each other. We followed each other here. We do. We remembered each other. We're in the reality together right now. We're on the screen talking right now. There's one reality being shared. And so many that are watching this right now who will be watching, hi, whoever you are, welcome to our reality. And this is a one or two reasons why you have come here. Maybe to call me out on something, or maybe to enjoy what I'm sharing, what I'm saying here. And we're grateful to have this platform. This is happening and taking place every day. All over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over everything. Everything in our world today is about the medium. And having confidence in our mediums and our deliveries and our setting the dates and times to be somewhere, in form or not in the form. Travel. I used to call this the ancient traveler. We are the ancient traveler. I used to say that a lot. We are the ancient traveler, whether it's in this medium, form or formless, in the formless mediums. We are the ancient traveler. We follow each other.
I think that's a really wonderful message to kind of finish this interview off with.
I have one more question. Is that okay? Huna, we're recording this gathering on the 27th at 3:33. I put 33 because I know you like the 333 numbers. And the only reason we held it, we had it originally scheduled for another date, but we altered it to make it this date. And we had Jay and I had a couple of appointments this morning. So it wasn't intentional. And when I put it out to you, you said, that's perfect. 27, 9, 3, 3, 3, 9. That's perfect. And, you know, speaking
9 is 18, which is 9.
yes. And, you know, speaking of codes, I really feel like most of us, including myself, I have so much more to learn or to remember about certain codes that you speak of, but I feel like I'm on the right path right now. I wanted to touch on the creation story. We had our brother, Daryl Williams, as well as our sister, Christine, hop on not too long ago within the series, and they spoke of the Mohawk creation story. And,
Yes.
and I wanted to touch on this because oftentimes within the Indigenous community, they speak of the 7 sisters, and it's actually the 9 sisters because we're referring to the Pleiadians. And we're referring to the 7 stars, but it's actually the 9 stars. And I wanted to touch on this because I wanted to ask you, Cryon spoke of this not too long ago, and he was speaking of the Pleiadians. Did the Pleiadians arrive, or did the Pleiadians predate the age and the time of Lemuria? Or was it first Lemuria, and then we went through Atlantis, and then the Pleiadians came in to bring back in the God spark? What is your understanding?
The Pleiadians are Lemurian. Lemuria is a civilization. Much like being in a bowl of water or ocean, an ocean of sea, ocean of water. If we are all in the bathtub together, that is the bathtub. If we're all in the ocean together, no matter where you're from, you're in the ocean. We are of that ocean. We are from the ocean. You understand me? So Lemuria is nature. We are of nature. We are from nature. We are of source. We have different tribes. Pleiadian, also referred to as the 9, also referred to as the Naskar, also referred to as the Matariki. These are expressions of a civilization that is a tone, has a certain tone to it. Pleiadians and many star beings are expressions of a certain tone, of a certain frequency and vibration. We invite that to be the highest. Now, I do somewhat remember a little bit about the Iroquois and the Mohawk creation story of the Turtle Island, and the turtle got up, was walking to the west, and got up and stood on 2 feet as it was heading west. Certain things I remember, and they speak of the 7. Now, if you are in the northern hemisphere, you will see only 7. But as growing and being raised within the southern hemisphere, you will see all 9 stars. You only see it from June to December, then it disappears. And then in the northern hemisphere, from December to the rest of from January to the rest of the cycle, you will see 7. That's the northern hemisphere. That's why there is an up and there is a down. That there is different orientations. There are orientations, but we are all of the one, meaning we are all Lemurian. Lemuria is not just from this planet. Lemuria is a civilization in the omniverses and the universes of many planets. To be Andromedan is also to be Lemurian as a civilization. Andromeda is spoken in the the Greek and the language of Atlantis. When we speak Andromeda in Lemurian, the sound is Meradenua Denua Mana, which is a civilization or a city or a place, a location of Lemuria. Meradenua Denua Mana is a omniverse or mother universe, a very high vibration, but is a tone, an aspect of the tone of Lemuria. Lemuria being the tone setting the tone. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And so that tone and that vibration is very high in my understanding. And I say this as the 24th dimension, even though people say, oh, there's so many dimensions. Well, I think you're confusing dimensions and realities. There are many realities. Let me share that Lemuria is in the 24th dimension vibration, which requires a certain tone and frequency and vibration to access that civilization. Call it heaven if you want, call it whatever. I call it Lemuria. And so when Lemuria arrived on Earth 600 million years ago as part of the civilization, many star beings came into the civilization of first Lemuria, thereby by creating the moment, thereby coming to the moment before confusion, a moment before many civilizations began to spiral in all manner of intentions. Some of it became distorted light and confused, which became Atlantis, which became the world we are in today, which brought the confusions, which is why we are awakening, which is why there is an awakening, a wakarema, an awakening, and an ake, tama ake, with the child of light of awakening, is now, because we are remembering before confusion, you see, before confusion. Where is Lemuria? Lemuria is before confusion. Where is the Pleiades? It is of Lemuria before confusion.
That actually shone light on a lot of different questions that we were wondering around that. Huna, where is the best place for people to learn more about the work you're doing? Where can people go online? I know you've got a bunch of online courses. There's
a Dragon Rider process that you are sharing as well. So can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, there's I'm doing some upgrades and some updating to the website, and so we have a membership that upgraded from the Golden Compass to the Dragon Riders membership, and so you can just go to the website and click on membership, and then join up there. You will have access to 3 webinars, free. You'll have access to all the events that we are producing coming next year, which is the Burning Mask event. And these are members only, meaning you just have to show your members pass, you get in free. Okay, you get in free. You can go to the one in Glastonbury. There's one going to be in Ireland that's already booked the venues. There's in the Netherlands and Germany and New Mexico. You can go for free if you are a member. And you receive this discounts in our store, members discount that are fully active and operating right now at 25%. And so the members have some wonderful benefits. There's an adjustment coming to the Navigators Intensive, which is a 88-day course, and I'm adjusting it to receive now the lessons and modalities to activate the Dragon Rider or the Dragon Master. I've changed it from Navigator to Dragon Master, and to be able to host a Dragon Ride program in your location. So the ability to become Dragon Masters, to be able to host a Dragon Ride. I explain more in that course because so much more is being added to that. And then so you go to hoh.earth, hoh.earth and preview around in there. Feel free to. And I share information on the House of Huna on the YouTube channel, House of Huna.
And speaking of the original template earlier, you also offer the seal ceremony, which Jason and I have partaken in, and we did the twin flame ceremony. But can you share a little bit more about that as well?
So the child of light, the seal, which is the child of the light, the activation and initiation of the one who is infinite and unlimited from of the light. Now that process is a recognition of your light, and then also a modality. The modality included in there is polishing of the light. Think of it like your headlights get a little dim after a while. They get dirt on it. You got to polish those headlights. So I'm just coming along there and I'm polishing your headlights, like little polishing. And there's cleaning up, some cleanup work to do, from the spillages you've had, some of the overlaps you've experienced, and a pulling together of the one's DNA and pulling the DNA back into from 12 to 24 strands, and the potentiality of that, what that brings, and certainly it's an activation and initiation into Lemurian, into the greater remembering. Now, this can be done as couples. We call it the twin flame seal, or ultimately it's convergence of light. And as everybody here can and know, has come to learn about Huna Wakamaro and Huna Wakarema here, Jason and Taya, what they've come to learn, everyone's come to learn about your wonderful partnership as a convergence of light in what you're producing and bringing forth for the planet.
Beautiful. I know after we did it, and I felt like we were definitely, our path was getting clearer and clearer. And after we did the seal, I really feel like things really kind of just dialed right in, and more clarity, more confidence in just really knowing. There was more knowing. There's more remembering, I think, of what exactly we were here to do, and we stepped into that more fully.
And no doubt, like doubt started just washing away. There was just so much more clarity.
Some are ready for this, some are ready, some are not quite ready. For some, it's instant and just happens right away. For some, it takes time. Ultimately, it is a modality that instills confidence and offers stability and strength and more power within the light of the individual and the collective. Through the initiation of the Huna is also brought forth here. The sound of the nameless one is spoken. The sound of the nameless one. I love that part. I never really talked about it. And I started thinking, I should talk about these. To me, they're these little things, but they're quite profound. All these little tiny seeds that are in there, and I never speak about them much. And so I started speaking to this as the seal, source element ascension light, seal. And yes, it is of the light, the library of living light of the infinite, unlimited one, which is the child of light.
Thank you, dearest Huna.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure getting to chat with you again. And
we love you and we like you.
Yeah, we like you.
We like you long time.
Long time.
We like you long time.
We like you long time. Likey.
All right. Much love to you, Huna. Thanks so much.
Okay. So much aloha to you both.